My friends, I don't know how to put this into words. I'm going to do the best I can, so forgive me. I might not convey it properly. I'm going to do the best I can. This right now might be the most significant moment that we have ever experienced together, bar none. Almost bigger than Trump being elected or reelected, because this is going to set the bar and change the future drastically. There is right now awakened among us groups of people who never really were involved in anything even remotely like this before. Nothing. They might not have been necessarily conservative or Republican or pro-Trump or anti-Trump. They just sort of were kind of there. And then all of a sudden, they're saying, wait a minute, what is this? And they are getting the old, I guess the expression is drinking from a fire hose. They're getting in one blast what we have known and been a part of for years. They are absolutely, positively blown away at the level of horror, the level of sickness, the level of depravity that we are seeing here, that we have never seen or they have never seen before. For the longest time, many of us have talked about this. We talked about various manifestations of pizza, this and that, and Podesta, and the emails and the code words. And they thought we were crazy. They said, you're crazy. This is a part of a conspiracy theory. What are you talking about? And granted, the initial iteration of it, of what I think was referred to the pizza connection, we'll leave it at that. Because I'm not sure what we can say at this point. I'm not sure how many of these words are okay, if they're all right now. I don't know, because they were debunked officially as a conspiracy theory. But that notwithstanding, at the time it first came out, if crime had occurred, it wasn't really anything other than I don't know how to say this. It wasn't necessarily definitive proof or anything. It was a lot of probable cause that something very weird was going on. It didn't establish anything, but it was something that warranted our attention, without a doubt. And what I was telling people then was, I said, while this is very interesting and very important and very critical, while this is exceedingly important and critical and necessary for us to focus on, do not think that this in and of itself means anything. It warrants further activity, even though it's strange, even though the pictures and the references and the FBI files and WikiLeaks, all of that. But just wait. I was telling people, just wait, because it's not enough to do anything yet. It really was weird. It absolutely was frightening, but there was not the commission of any crime. It was a lot of smoke. We needed more fire. This bothered some people, and I said, trust me, I'm not saying this because I'd like to do this. I'm telling you because it's one of those things that is just, I hate to say, it's just true. It's just the way things are. We can't jump into the fire necessarily. Well, that was then. And this is now. Let me give you an idea of the frame, the reference of Epstein. This is how far, this is 21 years ago. 21 years. Here's the timeline. From 2005 to 2006, this was the first police investigation. This is when authorities in Palm Beach first began investigating Jeffrey Epstein after multiple minors reported abuse. Remember this? This is when they started the first investigation. At this stage, the public knew almost nothing. The case stayed mostly local and quiet, and that was it. 2008, this was the time of the secret deal. This changed everything. The secret deal. This is what we started talking about. And many of us were really, remember, we knew this. You knew this, but the how do I say this? The mainstream media had absolutely no interest whatsoever. There were no interest because they were told, stay off this, by virtue of how many people of the shadow government and deep state were involved and connected with him. But 2008, this is the secret deal era. Epstein received his infamous non-prosecution agreement in Florida, 2008. Most Americans still had no idea what was buried in the case files. No idea. The deal itself was not widely understood until years later. And this is where suspicion first began brewing inside legal circles. Okay? Good. 2015 comes along. The court filings exposing names. In 2015, public awareness exploded when civil litigation unsealed depositions, transcripts, and exhibits tied to Epstein's network. This is when people first heard about flight logs and associates and sealed testimony references. The phrase Epstein files started entering mainstream conversation in 2015. Okay? Then the big one, 2018 to 2019. This was the Miami Herald bombshell. Investigative reporting reopened the case nationally. Victim testimony, court documents, government failures became public knowledge. Epstein's arrest in 2019 turned everything into a global media event. 2020 then to 2023, the Maxwell trial evidence. During Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, more documents, witness accounts, and internal documents entered the public record. This added some structure to what had previously been fragmented leaks. Then 2024 to 2025, mass document releases. Large batches of court-ordered, unsealed documents reignited what was considered attention and created what many now casually call the Epstein files, even though there was no single master folder. It's a collection of court records and exhibits and depositions and investigative material released over time. The bottom line is this. The first real awareness began around 2015. And look at where we are today. Today changes everything. Absolutely everything. There are people who said there were no files. Ben Shapiro, there's no such thing. What are you talking about? They don't exist. What are you talking about? What's this pizza business? What? Even though, and they were still, this was a phrase they used in these files. You are also going to see, dear friends, levels of depravity people are frankly not able to conceive of, not able to understand. They will not be able to grasp this. It's like something I've never thought possible. I've never thought it possible. People that I've never known, cared about anything, are hearing this. Alex Jones was superb. I was listening to Harrison, somebody from Stephen Harrison. They were just going through and just reading the emails, reading them. Candace tonight has been excellent. Now, let me tell you, let's talk about her. I don't know if there's anybody as important as she is. There's Carla Brasileira says, what the president should have said, I am sorry for the unimaginable acts against minors documented in these files. What occurred was a moral failure, and we will ensure it never happens again. Indeed, and also, it's a good point. He didn't do anything. He's not there. Let me just say something very quickly about this. Does he handle things correctly? No. Did Pam Bondi handle this thing perfectly? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Laura Schlesinger was the Herald back in the 90s. She was really something. I guess you might say that. Trump never did anything like they said he did. Trump is a lot of things. Trump, my friends, is a lot of things. But what he is not, he's not into depraved acts against children. Sorry. It's not his MO. It's not his thing. It's just not his, how do I say this? It's not his thing. He's not into that. He might like the Stormy Daniels types. I don't know. He says he doesn't. He may. I don't know what that story is about. All I know is he doesn't like children. He's not into children. This is something that is beyond. This is medieval. This is something I can't put into words in terms of how horrible this is. So the only thing, Carla, is that if he were to say, moral, whatever, I don't think he did anything. I don't know. I think these are other people. Epstein also, let me explain. Epstein also, and I think that Candace was getting a little bit to it. His expertise supposedly was in money laundering and the like. They made him out to be a genius. Did you see his interview with Steve Bannon? He was nothing. He was talking about fractionalized deposits and basic bank transactional rudiments. It's like, what are you talking about? This was it? This was your big story? So I don't know what he was about. He, however, was a part that held, how do I say this? It was incredible. Now, let me go back to what Candace is saying. She is going to hit fractional reserve banking. She is going to get blasted, and she knows this, by everyone who will take and insinuate and interpret what she has said by virtue of referring to Goyim and that sort of thing. And also her recitation, her versions of what Judaism is, certain aspects of it, a variety of things like that. Oh, Lori, is this Lori? Lori Cuck, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lori. Happy birthday, girl. You've been with us for a long time, young lady. Happy birthday to you. This is something which is different. And I say to Candace Owens, whatever you want to say about any religion, go ahead. As a retired Catholic, I'm telling you, nobody bothered the Catholics. They said everything from the popes to people not getting married to they were pederasts, and they even talked about cabals and Venetian conspiracies and satanic. Nobody told what people to say regarding Catholics. Nobody. So what's good for the goose? They're going to hit her with she's anti-Semitic. I've got to be honest with you. I don't know if I can't speak for you. Whatever her opinions are regarding Judaism or Zionism, that's fine. That's not what I'm looking at right now. That's not my thing. Or religion or Russia. I'm looking at what's happening right now. An awakening that's a part of this country. When they're going to be talking about cannibalism, vampirism, exsanguination, ritual horrors involving children, people are going to do everything in their power to fight this. They're going to dismiss it because they don't want to think that this goes on in our world. You hear what I'm saying? Thank you, Avojoy Porter. These names, whatever happened to Dave? Thank you so much. So, we're going to be talking about this. Next, what is important? I did a show today with my good friend, Sean Atwood. He is in the UK. And they're going berserk over this. Everybody's going berserk over this because nobody knows what to do. First and foremost, everything that we've heard, everything in our group here, we've known about this from Pizza Connection to you name it. We've known all about that. All about that. Everything from, you've heard about it. I'll mention something that sounds like frazzle and everything you can imagine. We've been through this. We have been through this For years, we were shut down, called crazy. We don't cotton to that. We don't like being called crazy. We don't appreciate this crazy. You're crazy. Nobody's crazy. Nobody's crazy. We knew stuff that people to this day still don't know. And by the way, have you noticed? Have you talked to some of your friends and you bring this stuff up and they say, did you know about this? Know about it. We've known about this forever. What are you talking about? We were aware of this since day one. We have been talking about this forever. The level of predation, what Mrs. L has been talking about through Lynn's Warriors. I mean, this is, in order for you to really understand what is happening here, you have to suspend any belief you have that we share some kind of commonality via DNA. I can't look at it any other way. It's also important to know, and I will tell you this, and Candace made some reference to this, Jay-Z, big time, Diddy. Jay-Z for years wanted to be one of the big shots. And all of the big money people said, if you think you're going to be in our group, you're out of your mind. They played him like a chump. Oh, he did his thing. He wanted to be an NFL player. He really wanted to be something. They looked at him like, you've got to be kidding. Warren Buffett going out to have drinks with him. They don't want him. Another thing to notice. Do you remember the time at the White House and all of those influencers stood before the White House and the president? Remember that? Holding up these binders. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? I do. Do you remember how they stood up in front of everybody and they had these binders? All of those people, every single one of those influencers haven't said a word. Let me ask you a question this time. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Why do you think they haven't said a word? Go down the list. Look at the pictures of everybody who was there that day in Washington. Look at the pictures. Go ahead. Look and ask yourself, where are they now? That's all. Where are they now? What happened to them? Where did they go? Somebody tell me. Can you tell me what happened to them? I don't know. Can you tell me what happened to them? All these big shots. Remember that? Anybody tell you that? You know, if I didn't know better, I would swear that they were bought off. I would swear that they were bought and told, you are going to not say these things. We're going to pay you handsomely if you play along. But when we tell you to say something or not say something, you're going to act accordingly. And you could tell the people when they came after Candace. I mean, they were really, I mean, if you disagree with her, okay, fine. She's not psychotic. And if you don't want to watch her, go ahead. Don't. I've heard these people, I get these every now and then. They'll say, are you still talking about that? Say, God damn it, this is my show. Go someplace else. Who do you think you are? People have this idea that they control everything, that their version of excess or the subject matter, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Let me ask you something. Where did these people go? Where did these people go? Where? George Lenz said Stanley Kubrick was way on the front with his eyes wide shut. The final version was edited for allegedly more damning material. George, I appreciate that. Thank you. We know all about that. Absolutely. Kubrick, aside from being with the eyes wide shut, may have been a tremendous role in moon landing theories and hypotheses. Do you hear what's going on? Lori says, I wouldn't be surprised if COVID tests gave folks cancer. It's that bad. Let me ask you something. Can you tell me anything would surprise you? Anything? Anything? Can you believe this story of Bill Gates? He's afraid he got the clap from a couple of Russian hookers or something, and he was going to sprinkle it on his wife's food. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But this is what Epstein's emailing. Epstein, for the first time, said, I'm somebody. And you see what happens is when you get to the point sometimes when you're bored, you say, okay, we got all the money we want. There's a lot of people out there who some enjoy their life and other people say, oh, no, 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 no. I want to be the mini me or I want to be the evil person. I want to talk to friends of mine about eugenics. I want to take my money and I want to talk about changing the scope and the blueprint of humanity. I want to be a Bentham or a Malthus, a Malthusian eugenicist. I want to correct the scope of our humanity. I want to be a part of this group. Laurie says, I'd be surprised if we were wrong. We don't know. We don't know. I am telling you right now, I've learned so much about flu shots. Somebody the other day, I was at a CVS and they said, would you like a shot for such and such? I laughed. I laughed in their face. And I tried to explain. I said, you don't understand. I'm not suggesting that vaccines don't work. I understand epidemiology. I understand that shingles, especially in older people, it can be a brutal, brutal thing to endure. I understand that. I understand it. I'm not saying that there is no such thing as shingles. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is what you give me is another story. You don't test things. I don't know what you're all about. I have no idea. And if it says mRNA, I'm not, don't even waste my time with that. But let me tell you what's happening right now. And it's important upon you. Every one of us knows somebody who maybe have some questions about Epstein. And when they talk to you about it, please don't overwhelm them with, I told you so. No, 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 no. Ask them to say, well, what do you think about that? Who is this Epstein? You'll find out people say, I have no idea who he is. They've never followed any of this. Would you like to find out about this? Yeah. Are you sure? It gets pretty rough. You're not going to believe what they do. You're not going to believe this. You could ask somebody, do you believe that human sacrifice occurs today? Start off with that. Do you believe that human sacrifice continues today? Do you? And just wait. You've got to be kind. You've got to be patient. Ask them. Do you believe in cannibalism? Just wait. Just wait. I mean, not, large buffets, but the idea, the notion of the consumption of a human being. Do you? Does that go on? Does that go on? That's the thing which I think is the most important. Does that go on? Because you have to ask them this question, which is very, very important. You have to ask them to make them beg you, to make them say, what's going on? What's going on? Tell us more about this. It's not Epstein. It's other things too. You can call it anything you want. You can call it Satanism. You can call it Luciferianism. You can call it evil. You can call it, I don't know what, whatever you want. But ask them, do you believe this? Do you remember a while back, ladies and gentlemen, ask your friends this. There were people who talked about blood transfusions. There is no blood transfusion that people talk about. Did you know this? Laurie says, got to eat a baby to be a witch. Okay. Be a good line for a song. Do you remember people have this idea? Talk to somebody, he said, Keith Richards. It's been proven. Somebody last night on WABC. Keith Richards, it's been proven. Never happened. Never happened. Yeah, but he replaced his blood. No, never did. He went to rehab. He was joking one time about this, but the idea of rushing blood through. Now, there are some people from time to time, you can read about it. The uber wealthy, but the kind of the strange wealthy. They've talked about transfusing or putting in the blood of, plasma of young people. And that's been tried. People have been mentioning that for a long time. Whether it changes anything, whether it immediately dilutes, adds, replaces, who knows? But what I want people to understand, you do know that there have been people who have been focused on the notion of blood forever. Exsanguination, the bleeding out, vampirism, you name it. You do. Do you know this? Do you know this? Do you wear? Now, do you also know, dear friend, you can ask your friends this, do you know that there are sometimes people who, for whatever it's worth, there are people who, when they get to be real rich, they decide that they're going to go beyond the realm of normal and they're going to get into this stuff. Not a lot, but enough. More than you think, not the whole world. Do you know this goes on? And you tell your friend, remember this. And when the person says, that's crazy, say, you know what? I don't blame you. And you know what? You're probably better off. Don't think this. And then move on. Leave them. Let them come up and say, wait. Do me a favor. Look at this. Look at. They say these things. You'll hear these people, for example, Kuru. They'll say that Hillary has Kuru. She'd be dead. There's no, they don't understand that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, all these specifics. Now, you're going to meet some people who, for the first time, remember, you have two different groups. You have one who knows, who know nothing and don't want to know anything. And then the others who are so involved in this, they see it, they're wild. Either way, we have awakened people today for the first time who have never, ever paid attention to what? To this. And they haven't seen or heard anything. You have to direct them. Today, they're trying to tell us that Savannah Guthrie's mother, who apparently might have been abducted, which is a terrible story, that's the story we want to talk about versus Epstein. I'm not saying it's unimportant. It's a terrible story. But you see what they're trying to do? Let's talk about the Grammys. Let's talk about Billie Eilish. Let's talk about Don Lemon. Don Lemon's not important. Who cares about Don Lemon? Let's look at Don Lemon. Don't look at this. Don't look over here. And what they should do regarding what they're going to do, especially what Candace did tonight, they're going to blast her as being some kind of she's like Mengele. She's the worst anti-Semite. That's all they have. They have destroyed this. They still haven't booted Erica Kirk. They still don't get it. Another thing that's going to benefit Candace, don't be surprised if the Macron lawsuit isn't dismissed with prejudice or they settle for some de minimis amount, because somebody's telling her, listen, you filed about a 19 or 20 count complaint against them civilly, claiming, among other things, inter alia, not only that Candace had made these disparaging things about gender, but that there was all kinds of illegal activity because you were older and you were an adult and he was a teacher, and you're talking about things which happen to be talked about now in this Epstein matter. So we want you to stop this, because your deposition, your trial is going to remind people of this. We don't want the world to be reminded of this. We've got Candace to deal with. And these people are so stupid, instead of just ignoring her, they can't do this. They can't do it. Candace Erica Trump pageantry. You know, it isn't. It's a, I think that, by the way, the pageantry, I see that. Thank you, Carla, by the way. I see Erica, and I've talked to you about her. She's irrelevant. She's going to be gone before you know it. She just has to, because she adds nothing. She's a distraction. She's a distraction, the likes of which nobody can really understand. She really, really is a distraction. But the bottom line is simply this. The one who is going to rise to the top very seriously is Candace. She is opening people, and Tucker to an extent. Tucker, the other day, you're having a lot of people come forward, and they're real, who are respected, and they have a big following, and they're saying, America First does not in any way countenance this Middle Eastern plan, modality. People are tired of that. The people who feel like it's somehow critical are too stupid to leave Candace Owens alone. They're going to come after her, even more so. I also want to ask you something. Listen to me carefully. Look at the people who aren't mentioned in the Epstein file. Isn't it interesting that of all people, Hunter Biden's not in there? Isn't that interesting? I guess maybe he was in the wrong perverted circle. Also understand something's very interesting in this whole thing. The people who, I'm telling you, the ones who were the big influencers, they're saying nothing about this. Or nothing about Epstein other than the fact that he's a bad guy. And they were told. I told you this before and I'm going to say it again. Moby, in 2016, I believe, was offered, according to him, a deal by the CIA to have his social media platform because he was so popular. These people were going to find out many of them were bought and paid for. I told you there was this one case when Alex and Nick Fuentes came out against. I mean, they said that Candace was a psychotic and on Adderall, and I mean, what is going on here? It's like, I love Alex. I don't know what that was about. Fuentes, he's still trying to figure out what he wants to be when he grows up. So let me just leave you with this, my friends. First, let me thank you. Lori says, by the way, this is the best part. I knew you'd say who wasn't in there. Oh, yes. It's true. Look at the people. By the way, Lori, go to the people who were at the White House when they were handed those binders and watch what they're saying now. Nothing. This isn't going away. This will take 6 months to be really played out. ChatGPT and AI can take 3 million pages and go through it in a heartbeat. Collate it, pull out subject matter, do a table of contents. They have no idea what's going to happen. You're going to see people drop out. You're going to see the extent of this will blow your mind. It's the roots of this, the channels of this, the Warren, the connective tissue of this story is incredible. You're not going to believe it. You are not going to believe how big this is. And you're also going to say, how many people are going to be asking, where's Les Wexner? Why does this man, why we all know his name. How has he completely missed this? How does this happen? How does somebody this powerful, who was responsible for creating Epstein, along with Bill Barr's father? So remember, we're going to be hearing more of this. But more importantly, this is the most important thing I want to tell you. People who have never been a part of this world that you and I are, people who've never broached or in any way entered this sick, dark, dank world of predation and medieval occultism and evil. I mean, just they can't believe what they're seeing. And they're ours for the taking. They're ours for the taking. Bring them to our side. And tell them, we don't have a name. You might think we're Republican. Well, maybe. We're certainly not Democrats. We don't have a name. We don't have a name. But if you believe in truth and getting to the bottom of this and ending this evil, join us. We're the white hats, whatever you want to call us. So that's it. So my friends, I love you. Edie Crowley is so correct. Thank you. Please hit that like button, my friends. Please. Let me also tell you, tonight from Overnights on WABC, I go from leaving you, whom I love, because we're on the same page, and I go to a terrestrial talk radio, and I don't think anybody is interested in this. But they're more cable news oriented. They're not talking about this on the various cable news stories, not at all, because they're told specifically where their bread is buttered. And nobody's bringing this up. That's why we're here. I've got a friend of mine. We'll call him Vinny. I told you this one time. He said, we can drown them in our urine. I said, what does that mean? He says, there are so many of us that we could drown them. We are so powerful, so connected, so loyal. You don't want to make us mad. You really don't, to use the Jack Reacher point. Remember, you wanted it. They really don't want to do it. And we're going to continue with this. So, my friends, I thank you for this. Thank you for the wonderful super chats. Lori, bless your heart. Happy birthday, little lady. And thank you for those who have been a part of us and who were here. Thank you for that. And by the way, my friends, remember, don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't focus on. You're going to hear people coming at you saying, are you talking about this again? Yes. Are you talking about this pizza thing? Yes. Don't ask permission. There are people who, I don't know why they feel it incumbent upon them to talk about what you should or shouldn't know. Hillbilly says, by the way, I hope you can keep this 8 p.m. schedule going. I think I might be able to. I think so. I've used, I'm a big napper. I can grab a Z here and there, and I've got a lot of energy for an old codger, for a coot. Anyway, my friends, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for following me. Thank you for following Mrs. L at Lynn's Warrior. She's got so much. Wait till she tells you what she's got coming. I'll let her tell you, because she's on a mission, and we're on a mission too for truth. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. Again, thanks for the super chats. Thank you for everything. Keep checking here. We're going to follow up. We're going to be through this. And it's 8 o'clock. I kind of like it. It kind of gives us a chance to, it adds a new dimension to what we're doing so that I can speak with you. In any event, my friends, have a great day. Thank you. Until we meet again. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Oh, Lori, I love you too, honey. Ta-ta.